Hey folks, Pastor Sean coming to you with today's daily devotion. The Bible tells us that the law and the prophets were until John. Since then the kingdom of heaven is preached, and every man presses into it. That word presses is an action verb that I really, really love. In order to get juice out of a grape, you have to press it. In order to get oil out of the olive, you have to press it. In order to get the fragrance and the healing enrichment out of myrrh, it has to be crushed, it has to be pressed. Now, this is something that the Old Testament world truly understood. That Roman era of people understood pressing. Number one, they had to press everything. They didn't go down to the store and buy a bottle of grape juice off the shelf and some olive oil from out of the food section. It didn't happen that way. They had to press it. They had to do it themselves. And so pressing and crushing was something that they understood in a physical day-to-day basis, but also they understood what it meant to be spiritually pressed and oppressed by those who were their overlords. They understood all of these things in a huge way. And so Jesus uses this illustration of pressing. Now, when you press something, it takes action from you. The kingdom of heaven is preached, and every man presses into it. If you want to get something out of the kingdom, then you've got to do something yourself. You've got to press in. You've got to make things happen. You know, so many times I think about the woman who had the issue of blood. She pressed through the crowd. She pushed her way through the crowd. She made her way to Jesus because she needed something to happen. When Stephanie and I were praying about going into full-time ministry, we were already in ministry, been in ministry for about 2.5, 3 years, and we were really praying about going full-time, about me working exclusively for the church. And we really began to press. We really began to push. We really began to pray on a day-to-day basis because we needed to get something out of this process. We needed to hear from the voice of God. And so we pressed. We pressed and we pressed and we pressed. We fasted, we prayed. And then when the Lord opened up the door, when he answered and opened up the door, was amazing. But I had to do my part. Every time that anything good has happened in my life, it's come from God. But every time that I needed something to happen and I needed God to move, I had to do something on my part. I had to press. The law and the prophets were until John. God had spoken to one or two people in the Old Testament at a time. He would speak to Moses, and then he would speak to Joshua, and then it was Isaiah and Jeremiah and a few of the prophets. Occasionally he would speak to, a king or someone like that. He would speak to them on occasion. But after the resurrection, after the outpouring of the Holy Ghost in the church era, we now have a personal relationship with God. And we can boldly come to the throne and ask what we want. But did you hear what I said? We have to come to the throne. We have to press the doors open like Esther did. We have to swing those doors wide and come into the presence of the king and ask what we will. But we have to press. We have to move forward. We have to push the envelope in order to see what God will do. The Bible tells us to draw near to God, and he'll draw near to us. When we make one step, he takes two toward us, and we need to press forward. So, get in your prayer closet today and push. Get in your vehicle, and as you begin to pray, push, press forward, and watch God move in a big way. I love you. I'm praying for you. I believe you're going to have a great day, an amazing weekend, and I will see you again very soon. God bless you as always, is my prayer.